Hello everyone, good morning, good evening. Welcome to our channel Easy Cloud Trip. Today we are going to explore Azure Data Factory, shortly called as ADF. It is a service provided by the Microsoft to orchestrate the data movement between the data stores. So without wasting too much of time in the introduction part, let's get directly into the topic. So in this channel, I'll also be posting videos on SQL, Python, Power BI, Databricks, and also Synapse Analytics. So coming back to ADF, Azure Data Factory. So basically, this tool is majorly used for migrating a data from one place to another. So if you want to move a file or if you want to move a data from either from database into a file storage or from a file storage into a database, so we will be using this tool. The data store can be anything like you can move the data from cloud to on-prem or from on-prem to cloud or cloud to cloud. So any number of probability is possible here. And also the beautiful thing is you can apply transformation during the moment. So basically, we will categorize into two types. One is ETL and ELT. So ETL is nothing but we are extracting from the source, we are transforming, and then we are loading it to the final data store. So ELT is nothing but we are extracting from the source, we are loading directly into the final data store, and then we apply a transformation logic on top of that. So, consider a use case that a company A want to move the data from cloud database, a cloud SQL database, which is Azure SQL database, into a blob storage. Blob storage is nothing but don't. If I say a blob storage, if you're not familiar with blob storage, forget about it. It is a kind of storage. That's it. So I want to move the table A data table into the file storage. So what I'll do, they don't want any transformation. They want to pick up all the records from the table here. They want to put it in a file storage. So for this scenario, I don't apply any transformation. I just use a copy, right? It's just a copy from a table into a file storage. The one thing I need to do here is I want to convert into a file, basically from table into a file. I want to convert this one. So in this scenario is perfect for extract and load. There is no transformation, is required. If I want to suppose I want to do a same scenario, but I want to remove a two column while moving into the file storage. Okay, so I want to pick up all the 10 columns from a table A, but I want to selectively pick the two columns. I want to remove the two columns, and the remaining eight columns I need to put it into a file storage. The removing two columns is a transformation here, right? So I in this scenario, I want to extract, I want to remove the things, and I want to store it as a file. Right, so this is a perfect scenario for extract, transform, and load. So these are the two things. It depends upon the business, requirement or a project requirement. We need to design and we need to schedule it. Okay. In traditional way, what they will do, we will use the SSIS for this kind of workloads. So in a traditional way, like I hope we all know, there is two kinds of system, right? One system called the OLTP, and another system we call as OLAP. OLTP is nothing but online transactional processing system, and OLAP, online analytical processing system. So online transactional processing system will receive the data in a continuous way, continuous, near real time. The data will be pushed continuously, in a real time. Um, the On the other side, our OLAP system will wait for the data from OLTP system. So we do refresh the OLAP system twice a day or once a day, because OLAP system is storing a historical records that need to hold huge number of records. But in case of OLTP system, it contains a less number of records, because since it is a transactional database, right? So once in a day or twice in a day, we do have a batch job kind of thing that will move the data from OLTP to OLAP. Okay. Uh, so once the data got moved into the OLAP system, so in the OLAP system, we will refresh the model. We will call in a traditional data warehouse concept, we will refresh the dimension, we will refresh the measure, the dimension and measure tables we do have. So we will refresh those dimensions and measures, and in turn, it will be consumed for the Power BI or a Tableau report layer. So this is what happening in the traditional. With the same concept, we are going to achieve in a modernization, like in a cloud. Same concept. Okay, we are not deviating any this concept from in a cloud. So basically, we are going to implement the same concept. Concept is similar, but the tool which we are going to use, is having much more scalability, is having much more flexibility, is having much more, reliability. Like you can able to connect, any number of sources within a few minutes, and you can do a transformation. You can push into the data stores. That's the beauty of a cloud modernization. Suppose say that in a more traditional day system, if we want to fetch from a AWS system, okay, I'm working on my server is a SQL server. I want to communicate with the AWS SQL server. Okay, what kind of setup is required? The admin has to spend a lot of time to populate, the connection between our VNet, into their VNet, like a maybe the server is sitting in a different minute, right? It may be, the client machine. The AWS machine, AWS server might be a client machine. Our server, needs to contact with the client machine. In the sense, like we need to first, the setup itself will take a long time, right? So these kind of, admin and infra kind of things will be automatically taken care by the Azure. So that's the beauty of, the cloud modernization and the cloud orchestration. Coming back to the topic, so there are two kinds, ETL and ELT. So the globally we will call, you can remember this stuff like uh, ETL and ELT, or the process we are going to do that. But the the as a whole, you can remember, first we are going to extract it, and then we are going to prepare it. Prepare in the sense is similar to the transformation itself. And after preparation, in we can also able to train the data set. So so it will dynamically, assign it, or it will dynamically behave, or else in a few cases it will predict outcomes, okay, outcomes of a future. So we can train our data setup, but for a training and all, so it comes under a machine language, machine learning modules. So uh, so most of the, the ETL projects or ELT projects doesn't need not to, we need not to use a training, module, in a frequently based. Training is required. So you can go ahead for train the module if it's really required. Okay, and finally we are going to serve it. Serve to the business, Power BI reports, or your, Tableau reports, or we are done with our finalized data set that will be consumed by the reporting layer. So that is called the serve layer. So extract, prepare, train, and serve. So remember it. So next we are going to, so don't, if you are not getting all the things, just bear with me for a few minutes. I'll show you in a practical way. Okay, don't get confused. So before getting into the ADF, we need to know few things. We need to get familiar with a few terminologies, so that when we are orchestrating, in ADF, it will be very easy for you, because ADF is providing a number of services, a number of, sources, and a number of destinations. So before getting into the ADF, we should be aware of what ADF is capable of, right? So for that, we need to familiar with a few terminologies like Azure SQL Data Warehouse. So we can extract the data from SQL Data Warehouse. We can, like a table, normal database table, Oracle SQL. Oracle server, SQL server. We can connect with any of the database. Okay. Like a second thing is Azure Blob Storage. We can connect with the file storage. We can do a lot of things in files. Okay, directly. And ADLS. There are two types of storage available in Azure. One is Azure Blob Storage, and another one is ADLS Gen 2. So I will talk about this storage in a separate playlist. You can go ahead and watch that one. And fourth thing comes from the Azure Data Lake Analytics. Like as the name implies that by using some coding language like SQL, we can do an analytics on top of the data. And Azure Analysis Service is similar to the analysis service in a traditional data warehouse. And Azure Databricks, and it's a kind of Azure Databricks resembles the heavily used for transformation kind of things. So for if you want to do a lot of transformation on a big data project, okay, if you want to handle transformation on a lot of data, involves a lot of data. Okay, so that in that scenario you can go for Azure Databricks. And also I'll say that Azure Databricks is one of the costliest. If you want to subscribe the Azure Databricks, or if you're obtaining the services Azure Databricks, then I think you need to be very careful for each and everything, because it is very 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 costly compared to all other services, Azure services, Azure ML Learning and Azure HT Insight and Azure Synapse Analytics. So these are all the few things here, terminologies. Just remember as of now. Don't get into deeply. We will anyway. We are going to say in practical. So just I'll let you know all the uh, terms, okay, which will be which we are going to use in ADF a little later in upcoming session. Okay. Yes. So so what I'll do, I'll just go to portal. So first and foremost, you need to have the account created. Okay, and I think you can create your free account as your free account. You can go ahead and create your Azure free account today. For this, you need a credit card. They don't charge you. So for a first, they will give you a credit of 200 USD. So this will be more than enough to practice, for a first 30 days. So okay, this is how the portal looks like. Now I'm going for Data Factory. Data factory. I already have a two data factory created. Let me create a third data factory. Click on create. Uh, okay, free trial. So first, so basically there are some okay, there in Azure so the grouping is very important. Tagging is very important. Okay, the resource group is very important. Okay, there is some hierarchy, parent child hierarchy is followed here. Okay, so first under one subscription we do have a n number of resource groups. Under one resource group we do have a n number of resources. Okay, so this is how the hierarchy is followed. First you need to select a subscription, and then you need to select a resource group. You can create a number of resource group as you wish. As of now I'm going for MP underscore dev, and the name implies the name of the data factory is unique across the globe. Okay, like it should be unique always. So what I'll do is the cloud reps. Already I've created a cloud rep. So if I give the same name, let me check. One second. Obviously, see, the data factory name is already taken. Choose a different name, right? I already created a Azure data factory with the same name. I'll give a trips. Okay, and the region. Coming to the region is very very important. So the region relies on where your customer relies. Okay, where if a customer relies in East US, it is better to create in East US. If a customer relies in East US too, it is better to create a East US. So basically, like uh, uh, where is your source and where is your destination, how you are going to do that. Before creating a data factory you should be very clear where is your, maybe your server relies on EST2, maybe your destination is also release on East US2. In the sense, it is better to create in East US2 because the data transformations, sorry, because the data move, they will charge, they will charge for like pipeline runs. Basically, in Azure Data Factory, they will charge for pipeline runs. If your pipeline running for more than 1 hour, it will, see that they will charge you for each and every seconds or every minute, right? So it is better to create in the same region where your source and destination relies. So as of now, by default, I'll go for East US2, and by default is a version 2. Review and 1 second. I'll show you all the Git configuration, networking, advanced and tags. Go to Git configuration. I'll configure the Git later, okay, so that you can check it. Or else, if you have a Git ready, you can disable it, disable the checkbox, and can fill up this your configuration for Git and DevOps. Either you can use Azure DevOps or a GitHub. It depends upon the project. Most of the project relies on Azure DevOps. So I'll be showing you both things. Okay. Second, let me cancel this one. Git configuration we have seen. Networking. Go to a networking. This is very very important. So enable manage to virtual network on default auto resolve integration runtime. If your project anyway as a industry standard, every company is having their own vnet, so everything should runs inside the vnet. If you are not running inside the vnet, it will become public, so data can be hacked, right? So if you are designing for your project, okay, then you can go for enabling. This is very important. And the public and private endpoint, yes, same like what I've said, right? If it is become a public, then data security, we need to consider the data security. Okay, that's very very important. Next. Wait, I'll go for advanced. 1 second, I'll show you advanced also. Okay, the advanced, basically it is talking about the data encryption. Okay, data factory encryption. So basically, by default, Microsoft, providing the own encryption. If we don't want to, believe in Microsoft, we can follow our own encryption by using our key, which is called a customer manager key. So if Microsoft by default, Microsoft is managing their encryption and keys, everything. If you don't want to adopt that one, then we need to create our own encryption, which is called the customer managed key. You can enable it, and you can give your configuration. Basically, the encryption key all goes to a key vault by default. So you need to create a key vault, and you need to store your keys in the key vault. So that's how it is designed. That's the purpose of an advanced. And tags, coming to a tag. Coming to a tag is very very important. uh, so by using a tag, I can know we can if suppose I'm having 10 or 15 data factory. Suppose I want to quickly identify, or filter out by tags, which is possible here. Basically, tag is nothing but it is some metadata on top of your data, this data factory. I'll put Azure cloud reps. Okay. Next, I'll go for review and create. And if you see here, it is not saying, Microsoft is not saying anything about charges. Okay, the charges heavily relies upon, how many pipelines you are running, what is the pipeline time. So it heavily relies on, if you are not running any pipeline, they won't charge you anything. Even data factory is created. Okay, suppose if you are running any pipeline, at the time only they will charge you. Okay, so before creating a pipeline, you should be, aware of this pricing tier and all. So there is a pricing, the pricing information is available here. Pricing calculator for Azure. If you put here Azure pricing calculator. Okay. You can go and calculate your upcoming charges before creating anything. You should be aware of this. If I want to create a storage account, I'll show you the Azure Data Factory. Once again, here under analytics, Azure Data Factory is there. So you need to click this one. If you go down, so you can fill up. Okay. So this is how you need to fill up. So basically, you're using ADF, video not video data pipeline or a integration service. They will be charging, the data pipeline integration service. Orchestration. See how many orchestration you are doing per day. So suppose I'm doing a 10 orchestration. Okay, and how many execution you are doing, like how many data integration unit hours. Okay, uh, I'm consuming a two. Okay, uh, so it will be charging. See, $10 is charged, $0.50, $50. Okay, per hour. So basically this is how you need to calculate the pricing tier. Okay, so if you have any doubt on this one, you can reach Microsoft also. So see, estimated monthly cost. Monthly it is giving a, we can estimate a monthly, it will come around 1,118.69 dollar. So this is how you need to calculate the pricing tier. The data factory is created. So now we will go to resource. Okay, and this is I'm still in the portal. Okay, so this is where that my data factory. I can see the metadata of my data factory. What is my resource group? What is the status? And what is the subscription? And what is the subscription ID? Data factory V2. Type is data factory V2. We do have a V1 and V2. So far, today, like heavily we are using in a V2. V1 we are not using anyway. So and go for activity log. So this is where this is also very very important. See, I have created a data factory, correct? So see, even initiated by my name is coming, and the status is succeeded, and you can see a number of logs here. What happened? What and all, even if you create a single thing, simple thing, those things also captured in this activity log. Suppose today, okay, in recent days we have faced one scenario in our project. Someone has modified something in a data factory, which which impacted our data pipelines, failed. Okay, so we digged around who changed it, who changed it, and why they have changed it. So the simplest thing is we have logged into the Azure portal. We have gone through the activity log one by one, and we found out someone has changed the few configuration on Azure Data Factory. So that causes the data pipelines no failure. So which is this log is very very important. If any, for a production, for a you are for a higher environment, this is very very important. So you need to track of this one. So whoever is doing what is happening inside a data factory, or any configuration got changed, like kind of thing we can capture here directly. And I am like a back control. Basically, if you want to give access on the data factory, if data factory needs to communicate, right, with every other sources, or else you can assign some person, or as you can integrate, the Azure Active Directory. So you can assign a role, or you can assign, add a members. Okay, you can assign a group, everything we can do here. Tax, as I said, taxi, one tag is added here. If you want to add more tags, you can do it here. And the same like managed identity. I'll be speaking on managed identity and our back, in the later classes. This is very, very important. By default, it is a system assigned identity. We are using it as system assigned identity. We can also go for a user assigned identity. We can create it and we can assign it. So it will, particular to the user assigned. User based. So properties, I'll go for properties. You can see all properties here. And this is all. So nothing, the important thing is activity log, IAM, and MI and networking. So networking is very important if you want to know firewall kind of things will be managed here. So I'm going for overview. I'm going to launch the studio. If you click the launch studio, what it will do, it will open in a separate tab. This is be called as Azure Data Factory Studio. Okay, so this is a studio. Hmm. So once the studio is open, this is where the place we need to create a pipeline. We need to create everything, top to end. We need to create and managing everything here. Okay, the portal, we are not going to use portal anymore. We are going to use this studio. Okay, so it's better to like to bookmark it. Okay, so let's go through this studio one by one. Okay, what is what? So I'm going to I'm not going to directly to the pipeline data set or IR anywhere. I'm just starting from each and every icon. So what it meant for? Okay, okay. So so we should be knowing each and everything inside this studio. So it will be very helpful while we are developing simple while developing the things, right? So, okay, like this is what we are going to see in the upcoming sessions. So, we are going to see what this update icon, what this switch data factory will do, what this the bell or notification icon, what this settings icon will do, what does this help or information. In the information, we have a diagnostic info, what and where we are going to use this one, and feedback. Like if you want to give any feedback to the Microsoft, so we can give it, and we also suggest the future. I want this feature, like so that they will validate our request if it is feasible, and if it is a very good idea, then they can go ahead and do that. And we will talk about this account and switch data factory here, and we will talk about the setup code repo, and we are going to set up just one. And because we are talking about no, we will talk about this shortcut. I'm not sure why it is not coming here. Let me refresh it. Okay, so we are going to talk about these shortcuts, and we are going to talk about each boxes. Ingest, what is ingest will do, orchestrate will do, transform will do, configure SSCS will do, and we are going to talk about these hubs. These hubs are important. We are going to talk about these hubs separately. So everything, each and everything, we are going to cover it. So don't miss the class, or don't. Okay, it will be very, very helpful for you. Even if you know already, just you can. Watch this to get some more information, and please comment if anything you want me to talk, so please comment on that one. So this things we will be seeing in the next session. Stay tuned. Great learning and happy learning. Thank you.